numbers. What was another name for a rational number? Yeah.
Fraction.
A fraction or a
Decimal.
decimal. And so that's what we're going to be looking at today. Adding and subtracting fractions and decimals. And then we're also going to look at how we compare some numbers here. And so if you remember back to your previous math classes, you compared these numbers using a, what sign is this? Less than. This is the way to remember. Less than always points to the left. Okay? So less than points that way, left. That means this has to be greater than by default, or equal to sign to make a true sentence. And so there are two ways to solve this. The first way is to get a common denominator. Okay? That's one way. Or there's another way, and that's to use cross multiplication to compare the two. Now, if you use the cross multiplication, which is what I do because I can do that kind of in my head, you always start at the bottom right. That's where you're always starting. Okay? The bottom right, and you're going to take 6, and I'm going to take it times this number right here, because remember I said it was cross. So I'm going to take 6 times 2, and what do you get? 12. And notice where I'm going to write it. I'm going to write it right there. So you start at the bottom right, cross multiply, and you get 12. Now I'm going to do the same thing, except for now I'm going to start on the bottom left. So here I'm going to start at the 3, and I'm going to take it times 5, and I'm going to get 15. So now I'm just going to compare those two numbers. So when I compare 12 and 15, I know that 12 is less than 15. So I'm going to put the symbol. Now the question is, what direction does the symbol point? To the left, because it is less than. Okay? Less than points to the left. Okay? All right, with that in mind, I want you to go ahead and do this. Now, I'm going to tell you on your expressions where the less than and greater than symbols are, is they are by the number 3. If you look directly to the right of the number 3, there is a button that has %, comma, less than, greater than. So you're just going to hit that symbol until the one that you want appears. Okay? So we've got 4/5 to 5/8.
Just put a symbol.
Yep, you're just going to put a symbol. Yep. Say
The answer is equal. Would that be over here? Oh, you're reading.
no, but yeah, you're right. All right, greater than. Nice job. Okay. So the reason it should be greater than is because if you cross multiply, okay, if you cross multiply, you should get 32 on the left and 25 on the right. Greater than sign. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and review adding fractions. What's the most important thing you need to have when you add fractions? Common denominator. So if I add 3/5 plus 1/5, what does that equal? 4/5. I don't add the 5s? Nope, you don't. You only add the numerator. So 4/5 is your answer. What do you get on the next one? 7/16 minus 1/16. 6/16. But you need to reduce that down because 6 and 16 are both divisible by 2. So 2 goes into 6. 2 goes into 16. 8. So your answer is 3/8. So we're going to look at a few more of those. Okay, 1/2 plus 2/3. Now this one doesn't have common denominators, and so what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get common denominators. So look at your denominators, 2 and 3. What is the smallest number that both 2 and 3 go into? 6. So I'm going to want to rewrite each of those fractions with the 6. So I need to think 2 times what gives me 6?
3.
So I'm going to take the 2 times 3 and also the 1 times 3. And then what will my new numerator be? 3. What about this one? What do I take 3 times?
2.
So 2 times 2 is 4. So now if I add them together, I get 3/6 and 4/6, which is, okay? I would actually prefer you leave them as improper fractions. Main reason for that, I know you've had to do mixed numbers in the past. Main reason for that is when you get into your advanced math classes, you don't want mixed numbers. They cause a ton of problems. It's so much easier to leave them as improper fractions because generally what you're going to do is you're going to do some advanced concepts and some analysis, and so the mixed numbers kind of get in the way. So I would prefer you leave them as impropers. Oh, I skipped one. Let's go back. All right, there we go, finally. So I have 3/8 minus 1/3. Common denominator between 3 and 8. 24, good. So 8 times what is 24? 3. So I'm going to take the 3 times 3 and I'm going to get 9. 3 times what is 24? 8. So 1 times 8 is 8. So what is 9 24ths minus 8 24ths? 1 24th. Questions? Pretty straightforward? I want you to try that one for me. 2/5 minus 3/4. Okay, you can try this one at your seat. You don't put your answer in the expression. What's your common denominator? 20. So you should have had 8/20 minus 15/20. And so it's one of those things, well, how do you subtract those? Well, you just take 8 minus 15. Okay? 8 minus 15 you know is -7 over 20. All right, questions? Think you can handle that? All right, let's go to some decimals. These ones are on your expressions. So 2.5 plus -3.5, what is that going to give me? Okay. (2.5 plus -3.5). Keep looking, look around on your expression. I know what you're going to ask me. Oh, turn it on then. You don't need your number. No, it's asking you for the answer to this.
No, I know, but it turned off and it says my number to get.
No. This is what I'm saying. It wants you. Do you have it now? Well, it's because I used this one. Okay, so let's see, -1 is the correct answer. Now remember, all right, remember, if the signs are opposite, when you're adding the decimal numbers, you subtract the 2. So if the signs are opposite, you subtract. So in this case, I'm going to take 3.5 minus 2.5. So I subtract and I get, this is 0, and I get 1. Then what you do is you take the sign of the bigger number. So the sign of the bigger number is negative, so I'm going to put a -1. Now if the signs are the same, you add the 2 together and take the sign of whatever they are, if they're the same, okay? So here you go. Let's try this one. -13.12 plus -8.6.
How do you add the decimal? It should be 1.
Okay, answer -21.72. All right, so let's think about this. Signs are the same. What do? You add them. So I'm taking 13.12 plus 8.6. Yes, you need to line the decimals up. Okay, so then now you're like, oh, well, what do you add? Well, this is actually a 0. If you want to put a 0, that's fine, but you don't need to. You get a 2, 7, 1, carry 1, 21.72, and the answer is negative, because both of the signs are negative, okay? All right, let's try another one. Oh my goodness, it's skipping today. Let's try another one. Now this one's a little different because it's minus a negative. What happens when you have minus a negative? You add the opposite, so really, there you go. The answer is 10.25. Nice job. Okay? Because once again, you have different signs, so you're going to subtract the 2. So you have 42.5 minus 32.25. Okay? Put your 0 in. You're going to have to borrow. And so then you end up getting 10.25. Then you take the sign of the higher number, which is a positive. Okay? So This is what you need to do. Oh my goodness, it's skipping today. This is what you need to do on P16. You need to do 2 through 40, the evens, and this is due tomorrow.